Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We are giving you a live look this morning at a home where the Nash County Sheriff's Office say that deputies shot a man who had a gun. Hear why deputies were there to begin with.
And a person was killed in a crash this morning on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh, the road closure near Umstead Park.
And it's a comfortable start this morning. We've jumped back up to taller, but we started it comfy earlier this morning. But we are on our way to tropical. I'll show you when the heat index will climb into the triple digits.
And today is the first day of school for several districts in our viewing area. We are live from Durham to Cumberland County as buses arrive and parents make their first car line drop-offs of the school year. Welcome back to school, kids. It's that time. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. Grab your crayons, your notebooks, and your oversized book bags because summertime is over. But, of course, as you're getting into your first day of school, we're going to make sure that you have your right forecast. For all you parents out there, we have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a beautiful look at our view this morning.
You know, one thing that I will say, it's nice, I know, for parents not to have to also add in, a raincoat or an umbrella, that sort of thing. We will be dry for the next couple of days. It's really all going to be about the return of the heat. Of course, this is a live look at to the airport. 67 is our temperature. Our dew point's at 62. Now, we would still consider that nice, but once we get into the upper 60s, you're going to really start to feel it. And we'll have that gradual climb in our temperature and dew points as we get through the next 24 hours. Still 55 in Roxborough. Temperatures are now in the mid to upper 60s elsewhere, except down here, still holding on to 61 in Southern Pines. School day forecast, fast warm up into the mid 80s at lunchtime. And then as the kids are getting off the bus, temperatures will be in the low 90s. That heat index is on its way into the triple digits later in the week. I'll show you when. Coming up, Ken.
Right at 8:01, Elizabeth, the traffic has definitely picked up in a lot of our major roads in Wake and surrounding communities. I-40, the south side of the Beltline as well. A couple of accidents I want to bring your attention to this morning, just to be on the safe side so you know what to expect. This one is in Orange County. It's a serious crash on Hillsborough Street, St. Mary's Street as well, near Highway 70. We're not seeing any problems on Hillsborough Street right now, but just look for that police activity and be careful as you're making your way there in Orange County. Here in Nightdale, we're seeing a crash on Nightdale Boulevard near Ebenezer Church Road and I-540. We're not seeing any problems in that particular area, but again, you're having to navigate Nightdale Boulevard as part of your commute. Just keep that in mind this morning. All morning long, we've been monitoring a deadly pedestrian crash on Brownlee Drive, between Brownlee Drive and Ebenezer Church Road on Glenwood Avenue. You can still see a little bit of a delay still happening in those inbound lanes on Glenwood Avenue. Nick Perlin was there all morning in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker and recaps what happened.
This stretch of Glenwood Avenue behind me was blocked off for hours after Raleigh police investigated a crash that left one person dead early this morning. Now take a look at this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. You can see the car that was involved in this crash. It's that white Honda right there, and you can see bad damage to the front part of it as well as the windshield. Now Raleigh police say this crash happened at around 2 this morning, and we do know sadly one person has died, but we do know the person who was driving this white car did stay on the scene to cooperate with the investigation. At this point in time, we're still pressing for more information from Raleigh police to find out if that driver will face charges. As we get more information, we'll be sure to update you. In Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
And WRAL News is following a developing story in Nash County. The sheriff's office says that deputies shot a man around 12:30 this morning. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live in Nashville where this happened. Kelsey, deputies were there trying to serve an arrest warrant.
Chris, the sheriff's office says that that man had a gun when they were trying to serve that arrest warrant. That's when 2 deputies shot him. So this is what the scene looks like right now. We've seen several vehicles here from the sheriff's office throughout the morning, and they seem to be focusing their investigation here on this home. Several deputy vehicles are still here, and the sheriff's office says that the deputies who shot the man were not injured, but we're still working to get an update on the man's condition this morning. Deputies say the arrest warrant that this all started with was related to a domestic situation. So the SBI is here conducting their own investigation. We'll be sure to keep you updated on what happens with this. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Nash County.
This morning, families are jumping back into their morning routines. It is the first day of school for thousands in North Carolina, including Durham, Johnston, and Cumberland counties. And the first day of Wake schools is tomorrow. The roads will be different for you as well, with more buses during the morning commute. WRAL has team coverage of back to school today from Durham to Cumberland County. Let's start with Laura Levine, who is live at the brand new school in Durham, Murray-Massenburg Elementary. Laura, this is the first school year for new Superintendent Anthony Lewis.
Michelle, good morning. Class is back in session here at the brand new school, Murray-Massenburg. We know students were welcomed here for the very first time. We showed you the carpool line. Now you're taking a look at the front entrance of the school, where those parents who had to walk their kids to school today, they came right here and they were welcomed by all of these beautiful people here behind me. Say hello. Now we know there are 7,000 bus stops in Durham. So the superintendent, Anthony Lewis, he did confirm that they are fully staffed with bus drivers. However, to accomplish that, they've had to put substitute drivers on some permanent routes. Now this means delays are likely if some call out sick. So here is what else is new this school year. Sorry guys, it's loud out here. Free breakfast and lunch for all students at every DPS school. The introduction of global language and STEM education for elementary students. And Dr. Lewis says staff has been working around the clock during the summer to ensure a smooth transition back to school. Here's a look at some of his priorities. Take a listen.
This year, just building trust with our staff, DPS staff, obviously, as well as this community, and again, with a laser-like focus on each and every student that's in DPS.
And what a very spirited morning it has been. The vibes are good out here for back to school. We'll have much more coverage coming up, and the superintendent will be back here on this campus around 9 o'clock to get a tour of this facility. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Durham.
And our back to school coverage continues now with Gilbert Bays at Spring Lake Middle School in Cumberland County. Gilbert, a new change this year are weapons detection systems in schools.
That's right. You know, earlier this morning you saw all the enthusiasm with students getting off the bus, and now we're inside the lobby getting ready to take a tour around the school, so things calm down as students are getting ready to make their way to their classes. We're talking about the open gate system that the school system has purchased for every high school and middle school in the county. It's very non-invasive. Students kind of just walk through. It's kind of like what you see at the TSA, at the airports, and some of the other businesses around the country. It's something that's very familiar to folks. You walk through it, and they're able to detect if there's any weapons there. Now, we're in the lobby right here, but this morning where the students came in, where the buses are, that's where the system will be set up, but it's portable. So after the students get inside the school, they can take the system and bring it into this area and scan visitors who come to the school as well. So that's what they really like about that. Again, school is off to a pretty good start here. We've got 50,000 students, 86 schools here in Cumberland County, and safety is the top priority. Reporting live here in Spring Lake, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
Now, this morning's commute might be slower with all the extra buses on the road, which is why it's a good refresher time for when you want to stop for a school bus. When a bus stops on a 2-lane road, all traffic in both directions must stop. Same thing if you add a center lane. Now, all the traffic stops when a bus is stopped on a 4-lane road without a median. On a divided highway with a median separation, only traffic following the bus have to stop. That's the same situation with a road that has 4 or more lanes and a center turning lane, too.
4 soldiers are displaced after a house fire in Aberdeen. Take a look at this. Firefighters believe the fire started on the deck of this home. This is on Camberley Lane. Everyone was able to get out of the house safely. A family member on scene says 4 soldiers assigned to the Special Forces live in that home. The Red Cross is assisting them.
Avian flu has been spreading to several other animals, including cows. Coming up, what researchers are doing to prevent bird flu in dairy cows.
And this morning, we're learning more about drone and missile attacks on Ukraine. What Ukrainian leaders are saying about the attack that killed 3 people.
And it is the first day of school for a lot of kids across our area. It's been a comfortable start this morning, but we warm up fast into the mid-80s and then low 90s as the kids are coming home from school. We'll start to see our humidity climbing too. I'll show you when it will feel like over 100 when they come home from school coming up. 8:12, big changes in our weather pattern. You've had a high pressure system back to our west, delivering some air from Canada over the last 4 or 5 days, and that's felt very comfortable. But this high pressure system, actually underneath it, has a lot of heat associated with it, and that is moving our way. We're going to see high temperatures today in the 90s. That continues for the rest of the work week. Our storm chances stay low the next couple of days, but I'll show you why we get into a wetter pattern just in time for the holiday weekend. It's a quiet start this morning. This is a live look at RDU, looking pretty out there. Our temperature change will look like this. Right now, you see the blue shaded area. This morning, our temperatures were below normal, but this afternoon, we're above normal. That high pressure system moves over us, bringing the heat with it. It'll shift our wind direction to southerly, southwesterly, and that's going to continue to pump more heat and humidity into our area over the next several days. So sinking air with high pressure creates a lot of heat underneath it. We'll see most of the rain to the north through Thursday. We may also see that high feeding some air in from out west. That could bring us a little bit of a smoky haze from some wildfires in Montana. Underneath this high pressure system, we have sinking air, which compresses and warms. And so it's kind of a double whammy. It's going to bring a lot of heat with it, but it will also shift our winds to southwesterly, helping to continue to draw some humidity from the tropics into our area. Today, hot. Temperatures will be in the low 90s, but even hotter as we get into the next several days. But this is a little piece of good news. That first full week of September, we have some cooler than normal air just to our west, and it looks like that starts to kind of creep in to our area. So once we get to the middle of September, maybe we get into a bit of a break. The last average 90-degree day of the year or hotter tends to happen around the middle of September, September 12th. The latest 90-degree day of the year was October the 10th. So we're looking at some hot conditions through the Labor Day weekend. The humidity remains high. It'll feel tropical, but a front approaches us, and that's going to bump up our chance for rain. Here's Friday afternoon. You can see the green there over us. So Friday's looking a little wet for us. And then some afternoon and evening storms continuing through the weekend. Friday, it's a 50% chance, 60% chance Saturday and Sunday. If you do have plans for the holiday weekend that are outside, just keep checking back. We'll be able to fine tune the time line of those thunderstorms a little closer. Most likely it's going to be afternoon and evening. And of course, temperatures will drop a little bit too, looking at just 90 on Saturday and 87 on Sunday. Coming up, we're going to talk more about midweek and the intense heat coming our way when we'll see the heat index in the triple digits. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, congestion has definitely picked up on all our major roads in Wake County and surrounding communities in Durham. Looking at this crash in Orange County this morning, we've been following. It's a serious crash on Hillsborough Street near Highway 70, not causing any problems in that particular area, but just watch for some police activity if you happen to be on Hillsborough Street this morning there in Orange County. We've been monitoring this crash on Nidale Boulevard in the eastbound lanes near I-540, not really causing any problems for you this morning, which is good news if you're about to head out this morning. We do have some troubled spots to tell you about. The main trouble spot really is those I-40 eastbound lanes. You're looking at a 7-minute delay, and the major player here is your good friends coming in from Wake Forest. You're looking at an 11-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest this morning to the capital city. We mentioned I-885 this morning. Getting into the Bull City, you're looking at a 5-minute delay this morning.
All right, thank you, Ken. As the weather changes, there's new concerns about mosquito-borne illnesses. One town in Massachusetts is recommending a curfew from 6 p.m. to sunrise when mosquitoes are most active. That's because an elderly man became the state's first case of Triple E since 2020. Triple E can cause severe neurological issues. Meanwhile, West Nile virus is now reported in 33 states, including here in North Carolina. Experts recommend wearing insect repellent, protective clothing, and to drain any standing water outside.
You may want to check your fridge. Walmart is recalling nearly 10,000 cases of their 6-packs of plastic bottled apple juice. The juices are being recalled because they contain higher than advisable levels of inorganic arsenic. The FDA says the recalled juice could cause adverse health consequences, and all of the recalled juices have a best if used by date of December 28th of this year. The bird flu is now spreading among dairy cows, and an issue that we can see often in chickens that leads to higher prices at the grocery store. Sue Guzman shares the ways that researchers are working to prevent an outbreak before it takes a toll on the dairy industry.
A small farm in central Iowa may be home to some dairy cows, but their milk is going to a lab instead of the grocery store, as researchers at a Department of Agriculture facility search for answers on how bird flu has ended up in other animals.
This avian influenza virus, which would normally stay in birds, has gone into more than 20 different mammalian species more than 100 times in 2 years.
The virus has been found in various animals, from dogs to sea lions in recent years, but research at the National Animal Disease Center in Ames, Iowa, focuses on how it has reached dairy cows. As the American Veterinary Medical Association reports, the virus has impacted 64 herds in the country since it was discovered in cows in March.
I think right now it's still an animal health problem. And this is just really bad news for dairy farmers in the United States.
Research shows the virus is likely spread between dairy cows by drinking raw milk from infected cows. But scientists say more testing is needed to understand the spread between species.
We definitely need to consider some other avenues too. So kind of more of a traditional commingling, what happens between animals.
Researchers are also looking for ways to prevent an outbreak from spreading to more animals across the country, including a vaccine for calves to potentially reduce the risk of the virus even spreading to humans. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports multiple human exposures from infected cows.
And the first question we had was just whether their vaccine would immunize the cattle as a species. We're looking for those immune responses to the mRNA vaccine now.
Today, a federal judge will hear the Federal Trade Commission's bid to block a $24 billion grocery store merger. Kroger and Albertsons is wanting to merge to help compete with rivals like Costco. The FTC believes that this merger would eliminate competition and raise grocery prices. This is the largest proposed grocery store merger in U.S. history. Kroger bought Harris Teeter back in 2013.
Authorities say a pilot is in the hospital with very serious injuries because his plane crashed in Southern California. Photos from the Ventura County Fire Department show the nose of the plane, but the rest of the plane apparently burned in the fire. No one else was on board it. Investigators are working to figure out what caused the plane to crash.
A British safety advisor working with a team of journalists is dead after a Russian missile strike on a hotel in Ukraine. This is the aftermath of the strike at the Hotel Sapphire. 38-year-old Ryan Evans was staying there with colleagues when it was hit by a missile Saturday night. Reuters says Evans advised the agency's journalists on safety in Ukraine, Israel, and also at the Paris Olympics. 2 other members of the Reuters crew were hospitalized after that strike.
More than 1 million doses of polio vaccines have made it into the Gaza Strip. UNICEF is preparing for a large-scale vaccination campaign. It aims to vaccinate 640,000 children 10 years old and younger, each receiving 2 doses. The Palestinian Health Ministry says it is working with international health partners to ensure the safety of workers providing vaccines.
New this morning, North Korea says it has new exploding drones. North Korea state media shows photos of leader Kim Jong-un attending a demonstration of the drones. North Korea says the drones are designed to crash into targets. Kim says he is pledging to develop more weapons such as this to boost his military's readiness for war.
Also new this morning, Ukraine's Air Force says Russia launched a barrage of drone and missile attacks overnight. This hit 15 different regions across the country. The strikes targeted energy infrastructure across Ukraine, and Ukraine leadership reports at least 3 people are dead because of this. There's also been reports of power being cut in several major cities, including Kyiv.
At least 1 person is dead after a landslide in the Alaska town of Ketchikan. The landslide Sunday afternoon sent trees and power lines crashing into homes. Authorities have evacuated the area because they say another landslide is possible. Alaska's governor has issued a disaster declaration. And the Atlantic may be quiet for now, but in the Pacific, Hurricane Hone brought strong winds and heavy rain to Hawaii. Rain bands are sticking around as the hurricane moves out this morning. Thousands of people are without power and flights were grounded. The storm brought up to 15 inches of rain in some parts of the state.
People gathered in downtown Carborough yesterday for a celebration of Latin American culture. The event was called Fiestas en la Calle. It's meant to bring the community together. In its 9th year, the festival tries to cultivate a sense of belonging, a sense of connection and joy among people who live in Carborough and visitors too.
The idea is to enjoy, to be together, and to create community. Sometimes we feel we have many differences, and when we see we have a lot of things in common, but also things that we would like from other cultures that we don't know. So if we show it and we share it, we can understand each other better.
And obviously, as you continue to see all of the color here in the video, you're obviously supporting businesses there, so that's always fun. Live music, cuisine, artisan crafts, and dances were also ways that the community was celebrating. Looks like a good time.
The weather can do more to a baseball game than just cause a rain check. Coming up, how some conditions can give players a competitive edge.
And we have coverage on this all day long. It's the first day back in class. And for Cumberland County schools, there will be big changes this school year, including weapons detection systems. We'll have more on that just ahead.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We enjoyed the cooler temperatures while they lasted, but the hot temperatures are coming back, Elizabeth.
This afternoon, nearly 90 degrees, but this morning has felt pretty comfortable. It's 67 in Durham right now, and in Raleigh, it's 70 now in Fayetteville. The temperatures are going to be climbing quickly. We'll end up in the mid-80s by lunchtime. It's 70 now in Fayetteville, 65 Tarboro, 68 in Irwin. And this morning, our dew points have been pretty low, so fairly comfortable. But this afternoon, we climbed to 91, and even right after work, still going to be in the upper 80s. We have a better chance for rain late week into the holiday weekend. We'll be following that closely between now and then, Ken.
Well, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Here's what you can expect if you're getting ready to head out this morning. Traffic has definitely picked up in the northbound lanes and the southbound side of the Beltline this morning. You're looking at a 6-minute delay heading into the Bull City as well. Let's look at those delay times heading into the capital city meantime. Really, the trouble spot is coming in from Wake Forest on US 1. You're looking at a 9-minute delay right there. We're also looking at a 4-minute delay if you're coming in from Knightdale on those 87 southbound lanes, as well as a 4-minute delay in those eastbound lanes there on I-40.
Thanks, Ken. A person is dead after a crash on Glenwood Avenue earlier this morning. Police say a car hit a woman near Brownlee Drive. That's near the north entrance to Umstead Park. We'll keep you updated with any new information about the woman who was hit. And today is the first day of school in Cumberland County. They're launching a new weapons detection security system this year. Schools will have open gate portable weapons scanners. Johnston County Public Schools added the scanners to all of their schools last year. Next on Fox 50, a Nash County deputy shot a person while they were trying to serve an arrest warrant. That's next on Fox 50.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We're following two breaking news stories this morning. In Raleigh, a person is dead after a crash that closed part of Glenwood Avenue this morning. And Nash County deputies shot a man while serving an arrest warrant. We'll give you the latest on these two developing investigations.
And feeling fairly comfortable this morning. Earlier, we were way down here at Comfy, starting to see our dew points climb. I'll show you when it's going to start to feel like the triple digits.
And it is back to school day for many local districts. We're going to take you out to school drop-offs from Durham to Cumberland counties. A lot of students we've already seen this morning. Plenty of staff there, including principals, there to greet them. That's exciting to see. Thanks for joining us this morning on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. I was in Staples yesterday, and I saw all the kids with their parents getting those last-minute school
Get the gel
supplies.
pens. Get the. Are Trapper Keepers still a thing? I had a throw. That's a throwback right there.
Oh,
Trapper
my
Keepers
goodness.
there. Yeah.
I don't think I have one of those.
No, I didn't either, but my sisters did. I don't know. Elizabeth, are you familiar with Trapper Keeper?
I had a Trapper Keeper. I'm from that era. I'll tell you what, I was out doing some back-to-school shopping for my son yesterday. Shelves bare. You know, that's what you get for waiting till the last minute. Taking a look at North Hills, looking pretty this morning. Lots of sunshine. Our dew point's at 62. Technically, we keep that on the nice side of the muggy meter, but we were in the 50s earlier this morning, and we are on our way to the 70s. 70s in the next couple of days. 67 is the temperature. The dew point's the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, so it lets us know how uncomfortable it feels. And so we're still, again, looking okay. Right now, temperature is 70 in Fayetteville, 66 Rocky Mount, still 57 up in Roxborough. School day forecast, we're going to climb into the low 90s this afternoon. So it's going to be awfully hot, but at least you don't have to fumble around with a raincoat or an umbrella until later in the week. I'll show you when our chances for rain start to bump up. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, not too much back-to-school shopping for our little Frankie, thanks to his older cousins. Let's check that traffic this morning. You're seeing a lot of congestion building in the usual spots this morning that we usually see on those southbound side of the Beltline as well as the north side of the Beltline. You're looking at a 6 to 7 minute delay coming in on US 1 over in Wake Forest. We're also seeing a bit of a slowdown there in Apex as well as Durham. You're looking at a 6-minute delay. Let's look at those delay times as we look at, before that, let's look at this serious crash we've been monitoring there on Hillsborough Street in the westbound lane near Highway 70. We're seeing a little bit of a slowdown there on those eastbound lanes of Highway 70. Highway 86 might be a nice option for you if you want to avoid what's happening there on Highway 70. Want to look at those delay times coming into the capital city this morning. Really, as we've been saying, the trouble spot really is that US 1 coming in from Wake Forest this morning, about an 8-minute delay we're talking about. And all morning long, we've been focused on this crash on Glenwood Avenue. It was a deadly crash, pedestrian crash on Brightly Drive, between Brightly Drive and Ebenezer Church Road. Nick Perlin was there all morning long. He joins us now to recap what happened.
This stretch of Glenwood Avenue behind me was blocked off for hours after Raleigh police investigated a crash that left one person dead early this morning. Now take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see the car that was involved in this crash. It's that white Honda right there. And you can see bad damage to the front part of it as well as the windshield. Now Raleigh police say this crash happened at around 2 this morning, and we do know sadly one person has died, but we do know the person who was driving this white car did stay on the scene to cooperate with the investigation. At this point in time, we're still pressing for more information from Raleigh police to find out if that driver will face charges. As we get more information, we'll be sure to update you. In Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
Breaking news, deputy shot a man in Nash County. It happened in Nashville around 12:30 this morning. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey has the details of the interaction where the sheriff's office says this all started when deputies tried to serve an arrest warrant.
The sheriff's office says that man had a gun when deputies tried to serve an arrest warrant, and that's when 2 deputies shot him. We're still working to find out whether that man actually shot at those deputies or if he just had a gun at the time. As far as the scene here, we've seen several sheriff's deputies' vehicles outside of this home on Regis Store Road. We'll take you to video now of investigators working earlier this morning in the front yard. The sheriff's office says the deputies who shot the man were not injured, but we're still working to get an update on the man's condition. Deputies say the arrest warrant that this all started with was related to a domestic situation. The SBI is here doing their own investigation, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on what comes out of this. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Nash County.
This morning, families are jumping back into their morning routines because it is the first day of school for thousands in North Carolina. This includes Durham, Johnston, and Cumberland counties. The first day for Wake schools, that's tomorrow. Your morning commute will likely be different as well as buses get back on the roads. And WRAL has team coverage of back to school today from Durham and Cumberland counties. So let's start with Laura Levine, who is live at the brand new school, Murray Massenburg Elementary in Durham this morning. Laura, we're talking 500 students starting there today.
Absolutely. Hey, Chris, good morning. And listen, class is back in session. Those students are now inside this building behind me. We're still seeing some parents and students trickle in here because, you know, it's the first day. Some had to maybe run back and grab some paperwork they forgot, or some students probably were just oversleeping. You know how it goes. But Superintendent Anthony Lewis is asking parents for patience as they work through the expected first day kinks. We know there are a total of 7,000 bus stops here in Durham. He confirmed with us that they are fully staffed with bus drivers. However, to accomplish that, they've had to put substitute drivers on some permanent routes. This means delays are likely if someone calls out sick. So here's what else that's new this school year. Free breakfast and lunch for all students at every DPS school, the introduction of global language and STEM education for elementary students, and Lewis's 100-day action plan is underway to address overall needs and concerns. Take a listen to his top priorities.
I had an opportunity to observe and meet people at our transportation department, and the mechanics, the meticulous time that they take to ensure that the buses are operable. And then obviously the work that our classroom teachers and administrators are doing as it relates to professional development, ensuring that that they have all the skills and knowledge that they need to be successful.
The superintendent is now at Neal Middle School. He'll make his way back to this school and get a tour of the facility at 9 a.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Durham.
And our back-to-school coverage continues with Gilbert Bays at Spring Lake Middle School in Cumberland County. And Gilbert, a new change this year, we're talking about weapons detection systems in schools.
That's right. We're taking a tour right now around the school here. We went to a math class and we talked to a teacher and some of the parents earlier this morning. But we also talked with the superintendent about this system that's going to be installed at just about every high school and middle school. Let me show you some video of what we're talking about. The system is called the Open Gate Security System. It's one that's been used for security at several school systems and businesses across the country. The system is non-invasive, which means students can walk through without anyone having to touch them, can detect weapons just like any other metal detector. It'll be set up at entryways in schools, buildings for the daily screenings, but the system is portable, so it can be moved to football game fields and also to other events where large gatherings take place around school campuses.
Every high school, every middle school will have weapons detection, and we'll have standards for our elementary schools. And we've worked collaboratively with our sheriff department and all of our municipalities to provide school resource officers and crossing yards at our schools.
And the bill just rang here, so students are going to be changing classes. We do want to point out that that system will be put in place beginning September, so it's not in place yet, but it will be to keep the campuses safe. Reporting live here in Cumberland County, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
And it is the first day of school for 37,000 Johnston County students. Starting this year, parents have a new way to keep up with their students. The district will use a student information system through the Infinite Campus app. Parents can monitor their students' grades, their assignments, attendance, and more. 240 buses will be on the road in Johnston County. You can track them by using the ULog Parent Portal app. And Wilson County schools also start back today, including at the tornado-damaged Springfield Middle School. The August 8th tornado tore off part of the roof and knocked down the walls in the 6th and 7th grade halls. The school plans to use mobile units for some classrooms. Others will be moved into the 8th grade wing. And former President Donald Trump is ramping up his schedule as the presidential debate against Vice President Kamala Harris is just weeks away. Today, Trump will address the National Guard Association's conference in Detroit. Then on Thursday, he'll talk about the economy in Michigan before joining a town hall meeting in Wisconsin. He'll then travel to Pennsylvania for a rally and then to Washington, D.C. to speak at a summit held by the conservative group Moms for Liberty. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, they'll kick off a bus tour through Georgia on Wednesday. This will be the first time the two have campaigned together in that state. Following the tour, Harris will headline a solo rally in Savannah.
And a bit of a squabble over the rules of the upcoming debate. Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center with some brand new information coming in about the Trump campaign, saying that they're not happy with some of the rules of this upcoming campaign, and they want to make sure that it's done in the same way, casting a little bit of a doubt on whether that September 10th debate will take place. But CNN is reporting Trump's team would like the microphones to be muted throughout the debate, except for the candidate whose turn it is to speak. That was the case during the first debate with President Joe Biden. The Harris campaign wants any network that wants to host a potential debate coming up to keep the microphones on. Trump's campaign manager said, "Enough with the games. We accepted the September debate under the same terms as the June debate."
All right, thank you, Jeff. People in Italy are remembering the people who died when a yacht sank off the coast. Coming up, where the investigation into that sinking stands right now.
And Glee star Lea Michele is sharing a picture of her new baby. Ahead in What's Trending, we'll take a look at the new photo. Welcome back. Time now is 8:44 on your Monday morning as we take a live look over Wrightsville Beach. Plenty of sunshine. Temperature is really going to heat up this week. It's not a bad time to head to the beach if you, of course, you have that luxury of going on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Elizabeth, temperatures are going to get into the mid-90s again.
Oh, yeah, a nice beach weather, at least in terms of temperatures. We're going to talk more about what it's going to feel like as we get into the holiday weekend, where we may be just a little bit wetter coming up. Take a live look at Wake Forest, looking clear this morning. It's been fairly comfortable. Our dew point sitting at 62. This is a measure of moisture in the atmosphere. Low 60s still feels okay. Upper 60s to 70s really starts to feel uncomfortable. 67 is our temperature. Boy, it's a fast warm up today, though. We'll be in the mid 80s by lunchtime, and we do climb into the low 90s this afternoon. And we've been talking about this big warm up, and it definitely starts today. Our temperatures currently range from 61 in Roxborough to 71 in South Hill. It's 72 in Fayetteville. We're looking at upper 60s right now in the Triangle area. We're going to change gears to a wetter pattern, especially as we get into Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. Love this weather watcher from Logan Whitehead, Scotland Neck. Some isolated thunderstorms that popped up there last week. Go to WRAL.com, search weather watchers, and send us a few photos. We'd love to see what's happening in your backyard. Speaking of those showers and thunderstorms, high pressure has been sitting back to our west. It's been funneling in some nice cool air from Canada. It will also act to block showers and thunderstorms over the next several days as it slides eastward. But eventually, we're going to see that pattern breaking down, and by Thursday, Friday, we get into a slightly better chance for storms. Temperatures this afternoon in the low 90s, 92, Raleigh, Durham, and Fayetteville. But today stays dry. Our normal high is 88. By Wednesday, we're 10 degrees above that at 98, and it'll feel very hot Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, especially when we figure in the muggy meter. We're going to see tropical feeling dew points Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and that's really going to bump up our heat index. So 92, that's our high temperature for today. So we don't have a heat index to worry about. Tomorrow it'll feel like 99, but feeling more like 104 Wednesday and Thursday. That puts us close to a heat advisory from the National Weather Service. We'll let you know if we end up under one of those. Our normal low is 68, and then we're in the mid 70s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The reason that we've been so pleasant over the last week or so is we've had this nice flow coming out of the north. You can see the blue arrows. As we get into this afternoon, the winds will go variable for a while and eventually start to set up coming out of the southeast. You can see how everything starts to turn orange and red and come out of the southeast. That's going to bring in more tropical air. As this high is still to our west, it is going to send in some air from, say, all the way around Montana. It may feel a little hazy as we get into this afternoon, but we're not looking at any air quality issues. Air quality is moderate. Even though we may see some haze from some wildfire smoke, it's not likely to affect our air quality. 98 Wednesday will be the hottest day. We do cool down over the weekend, but we also see a much better chance for showers and thunderstorms.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. A high-profile Democrat is backing a Republican in the race for state auditor. None of the candidates have a background in governmental auditing, but former auditor Beth Wood says that she thinks Republican Dave Bolek has the right experience for this job. The longtime auditor picked Bolek over Democrat Jessica Holmes and Libertarian Bob Drack. Holmes is the sitting auditor, and she's endorsed by Governor Roy Cooper. Cooper appointed Holmes to the position when Wood resigned in December. Wood stepped down after pleading guilty to misdemeanor charges of using a state vehicle for personal errands. Now, for more about the candidates who want to become the next state auditor, you can go to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
Hundreds of people were at a mass and candlelight vigil in Sicily. This was for the people who died during a super yacht sinking last week. Italian authorities have opened a manslaughter investigation into how that boat sank. Officials originally thought the boat capsized during a storm last Monday, and now they say it sank because of the behavior of the crew and the way the boat was handled. 7 people died, including British tech tycoon Mike Lynch and his 18-year-old daughter.
A groundbreaking ceremony is happening today for a new fire station in Rocky Mount. The new building is the replacement for this 46-year-old station on Grace Street. Construction is expected to be finished in about a year's time. The groundbreaking is happening this afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Tonight at 6, is your student unknowingly being exposed to toxic chemicals in school? Leading scientists estimate chemicals known as PCBs can be found in 1 out of every 3 schools in the U.S., and PCBs are linked to cancer and cognitive issues. Yet, unlike asbestos and lead, the state of North Carolina does not actively test for PCBs.
Why would you not preemptively protect people, children, teachers, staff, health?
Night at 6, only on WRAL. Keely Arthur will tell you how many older schools where these toxic chemicals are most likely to be found are in each district.
2 astronauts stranded on the International Space Station will stay there until February. NASA says there is too much uncertainty around bringing Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams home on the Boeing Starliner spacecraft. But the 2 have been in space since June. The trip was only supposed to be 5 days, but it's now turned into months. The crew are now scheduled to return home on board a SpaceX spacecraft in February.
A Major League umpire will sit out his next assigned series after being hit in the neck by a shattered bat. This happened in the 5th inning of yesterday's game between the New York Yankees and the Colorado Rockies. Yankees player Giancarlo Stanton's bat broke when he hit the ball. That broken bat went straight toward umpire Nick Marley's head. Marley immediately fell down and was helped into a stretcher by medics. After the game, Major League Baseball said that he was diagnosed with a concussion.
I certainly hope that he recovers from that. While we're talking about baseball, the weather can affect the outcome of games. I'm not just talking about rain checks here. WRAL meteorologist Chris Michaels is here to explain more. Chris, talk a little bit more about how something like the flight of baseballs can be affected.
Exactly, and a lot of that has to do with the heat. As much as I've been wanting to hold on to fall, I feel like I'm starting to lose that battle, right? The summer heat is back in the mix for the Durham Bulls coming back into town, and that hot air is actually very light, so it allows the ball to travel more, which is why you tend to see more home runs being hit in the summer months. You may even see some routine fly balls that all of a sudden get more carry to them. I'll never forget when I saw that at Camden Yards a couple of years ago. On the other end is when it's cooler, the air is heavier, and you tend to see less home runs hit. But let's talk about one of the ballparks that's most impacted. Coors Field is so high in elevation that the air is lighter, so they actually built the stadium so that the fences were 20 to 40 feet farther away from home plate than your average ballpark. Even still, you get home runs getting hit out there like crazy. But hopefully we see more hit with the hotter weather on the way for the Durham Bulls series. That starts tomorrow evening against Buffalo, first pitch at 6:35.
All right, thanks, Chris. Today in entertainment news, an Australian joins a Brit on stage in Eastern Europe, and American actors bond in Mexico. David Daniel goes international with today's Hollywood Minute.
He's been on stage playing with us for the whole time, playing in time. Will you make some noise for Chris Hemsworth?
Thor brings a different kind of thunder. Chris Hemsworth played drums for 70,000 fans at Ed Sheeran's recent show in Bucharest, Romania. The actor learned the instrument as a brain-boosting challenge for his National Geographic series Limitless, returning for a second season on Disney Plus next year.
Okay, here we go. Jess, Frida, this is my childhood buddy, Cody.
Hey, cheers, ladies. Cheers. Cheers.
The ensemble cast of Blink Twice got to know each other well when writer-director Zoe Kravitz put everyone together filming in Mexico.
We all lived in this one location together, so I think that created a very close-knit relationship.
Yeah, we lived where we shot this film.
That could have gone either way.
Yeah, it could have gone either way.
But it ended up becoming,
She did a good job assembling this group of miscreant rascals.
Yes.
And then we didn't even have to rehearse because we just were together all the time.
That's right.
That's right.
And naturally, the chemistry just came to life.
Tom.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
Where's Lucas at?
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The Raleigh Food Truck Rodeo was back in downtown yesterday. There were more than 50 locally owned food trucks on Fayetteville Street. The event also featured great stories from business owners making their dreams a reality.
Lizzie's, it started, I wanted some Moana-themed candy apples for my oldest daughter's birthday, so that's how it all began. I figured out how to make candy apples, and the rest is history.
Oh, that's amazing. The next Food Truck Rodeo is happening September 21st. If you own a food truck and looking to be part of the event, you can register on Shop Local Raleigh's website. Well, coming up, we'll have more news and weather. Here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. We'll be right back.